Good morning, everyone. This is Gail Dudley with your news in motion. Today is Tuesday. Tuesday, right? Yep, Tuesday, September the 15th, 2020. Wet hair and all, this is called that. Good morning, Pastor Allen. Wet hair and all, this is called I was sleeping too good this morning. But I'm still here, 7:25. I'm still here. How is everyone this morning? I hope you are doing well. We have some news. We just keep getting the news. So good morning, Deborah Johnson. Good morning. All right, so here's today's headlines. The U.S. Appears to be on a fast track to reopen bars, restaurants, despite risk. They're on the fast track. Good morning, Adrian. States that have reopened bars experience a doubling in the rate of the coronavirus cases. So we have that going on. A study by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention of nearly 300 adults. Good morning, Cassandra. Welcome home if you're back. Good morning, Oscar. Nearly 300 adults who tested positive for the coronavirus found that they were more than twice as likely to have dined at a restaurant in 2 weeks before getting sick than people who were unaffected. Good morning, Jacqueline. So y'all, they're opening these things up, restaurants, bars. But what happens is the moment that the numbers start slowing, what happens is they increase again. So I just want to start off with the coronavirus numbers in the U.S. Y'all know I go to the World Health Organization. There are 6,748,857 cases. There are 198,947 deaths. And again, I say he knew. There are 4,024,385 that have recovered. So absolutely, we need to celebrate that recovery. Good morning, Brenda Randleman. And for all of you who's popping in, they're like, what's up with her hair? This is called I woke up late, so this is wet hair. Good morning, Antoinette. Okay, so speaking of the coronavirus numbers, I want to share something with you from Canada. Canada reported zero. Good morning, my biological brother, Lewis. 0 new deaths from COVID-19 on Friday for the first time in 6 months. The last time that Canada reported no new deaths on the virus was March the 15th. So if you're wondering, can it happen? It can happen that we get these numbers down. As of Friday evening in Canada, over 6 million people have been tested for COVID-19, and that's 2.1% of which came back positive. There have been some 702 new cases were reported Friday, but no new deaths in Canada. Also, speaking of Canada, get this, y'all. Can you imagine? Speaking of Canada, Canada has just launched a $221 $221 million for a black entrepreneurship program. Bam! Can you what? $221 million for a black entrepreneurship program in Canada. That's right. Canada is launching this business loan program to uplift black business owners in the country who have been disproportionately affected by COVID-19 crisis. If we even go back here to the United States, the PPP, small business, especially black business owners, small business owners receive zero of that money. And here you have Canada saying, okay, we're going to designate $221 million. For a black entrepreneurship program. And especially those who have been disproportionately affected by the COVID-19 crisis. So my hat's off to Canada this morning. I think that's phenomenal. All right, next up, the participant, the volunteer who triggered the global shutdown of the coronavirus testing trial, AstraZeneca, phase 3 of the COVID-19 vaccine trials. It was a woman. She's a woman in the United Kingdom who experienced, get this, neurological symptoms consist with a rare but serious spinal inflammation disorder. I ain't taking that. No. She's still in the hospital. They're saying that she expects to be released soon, but right now she's still in the hospital, and they said she's slowly getting better. That's what the vaccine trial did to her. And they're trying to look into what happened and why that happened. Good morning, Miriam, and why that happened. But that's what happened. So we cannot rush a vaccine. And by the way, in case you don't know this, and we talked about it a few weeks ago, the FDA is a part of the executive branch here in the U.S. The FDA is a part of the executive branch. So when you hear about a vaccine, remember that. Remember that these are not people of bipartisanship. These are people who work for the administration that's currently in the office. Good morning, Rhonda. You up early in Texas. So be mindful of that. So, yeah, the FDA in the United States of America is a part of the executive branch, and the top executives are those who are loyal to the occupant of the Oval. So just think about that. See, y'all, that's what happens when we vote. So when we're voting, we have to think again, not just the highest office, but every executive branch to that office. Who could be the people who may be appointed to these different positions? Y'all, it's more than that. I'm going to keep talking about that and saying that until I'm blue in the face. In this dark face, if it gets blue, you should be concerned. Good morning, Kim Hill. Okay, next up. How many of you got this in the mail? How many of you got this in the mail? Okay, this right here. This is deceiving. And there's a lot of misinformation from the U.S. Postal Service. And I know my brother's on here. He works here for the U.S. Postal Service. This information is deceiving. It is misleading. There are now court cases trying to halt these mailers from going out. They're trying to halt these mailers. So let me just read this. It says some deadlines conflict with the state laws, such as Maryland and West Virginia. The Attorney General of California, Alex Padilla, said the postcard is causing voter confusion. Colorado Secretary of State explains to their voters the mailers contain inaccurate information. Washington State and Utah told their voters they do not need to request a ballot. Yeah, this here that they sent out. Let me just read you some of these if you haven't received this yet. This came from the United States Postal Service. This came to my house yesterday. When I read it, I was like, that ain't true. So I started Googling it, and I found this information. Hear me. When something doesn't seem right to you, check it out. We now have computers, iPads, laptops, smartphones, you name it, to Google. Just Google U.S. Post Office mailer and see it. But when I picked this up and started reading this, and I'm going to read it. The first box says, start today. Give yourself and your elected officials ample time to complete the process. Okay, that one was good. The second one, rules and dates may vary by state, so contact your election board to confirm. But then they give you the USPS website. That was a red flag to me. Next question, request your mail-in ballot, often called absentee ballot. Now listen to this, y'all. It says at least 15 days before the election. What? Why am I going to wait 15 days and you already removed blue mailboxes and you've already pulled out voting sorting machines? That doesn't add up. 15 days before the election, asking for an absentee ballot doesn't add up. That doesn't add up, y'all. This came from the U.S. Post Office. Then the next one says, once received, follow the instruction. Add postage to the return envelope if needed. Then they have another check mark that says, we recommend you mail your ballot. Get what they said, y'all. We recommend you mail your ballot at least 7 days before the election day. What? Don't you know we've been seeing you on the news? We know you remove boxes. We know you remove sorting machines. And you're going to send this in the mail? This came from the U.S. Postal Service, people. Yes, it did. And what gets me is this. Request your mail-in ballot, often called absentee ballot, at least 15 days before the election. But then they say, we recommend you mail your ballot at least 7 days before the election. Come on now. Get more serious in this. Y'all, this is why I'm saying have a plan. Everywhere you're going, people are telling you to have a plan. Have a plan. So if you receive this in the mail, from the U.S. Post Office, I'm telling you, just go ahead and throw it in the trash can because it doesn't line up with what we know to be true. It doesn't line up. It doesn't. So I wanted to alert all of you on that. And with that being said, plan your vote. Another resource, and this is from NBC News, NBCnews.com/plan your vote. So if someone can put that in the comments, put the NBCnews.com/plan your vote. When you put that in there, it'll pop up your state or you mark your state and it gives you information. I'm giving you tons of resources. I've decided to put all the resources together on one document that you'll be able to download. So I'm working through that now, trying to put all that together so that you can have this information. You're right, Beverly. And y'all, by the way, now that I see Beverly, just a side note real quick, Beverly, many of us were praying for you last week. We send you our condolences, our prayers in the passing of your father. You were missed, but we understand why you were gone. And we're just praying God's strength upon you during this season. So everyone, that's the Beverly Woodard that we were praying for last week in the passing of her father. Next up, y'all, there are 5 tropical cyclones in the Atlantic at the same time. 5 tropical cyclones. This is only the second time. This is only the second time in history that this has happened. The first time was in 1971. The first time was in 1971. So just be thinking about that. And actually it was September the 11th through 14th. And look what date we're at. We're at September the 15th. So from September the 11th through 14th, 1971, that was the only other time there were 5 cyclones in the Atlantic at the same time. That's happening right now. Fires are continuing to rage in the West, so we want to continue to pray for that. Can you send me a picture of that so I can post? Yes, I can. You talking about this, Cassandra? I'll do that. All right, y'all. What else do we have going on? Okay, get this. Our young people are the bomb.com. You know, I was thinking about this when I was watching the news the other day, and I was looking at the different sources to make sure that she did indeed say these words. But I have 2 millennials, and one thing that I can guarantee is that they're not like us. I'm 55. So my group, my generation, people who are older, they're not like us. They will tell you what they think. They're going to either do it or they're not going to do it. They're not going to play around with you. You can't trip them up or trap them up. They don't roll like that. So yesterday I told you about For the Win was Naomi Osaka. Well, I started digging in. First of all, y'all know she wore the different mask, and she wore the different mask to call out the names of the people. She really did use that she used her platform for social justice. She's just a bomb. So she used her platform to call out the names. For all 7 matches, she wore different masks. Breonna Taylor, Elijah McCain, Ahmaud Arbery, Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, Philandro Castile, Tamar Rice, ahead of the final round. So she was wearing these masks. Okay, she was wearing the mask. As she's still on the platform with her trophy, an ESPN reporter by the name of Tom asked her what message she wanted to send with the 7 masks. Y'all, her response is just a bomb. Her response, well, what was the message you got? That's just the greatest thing. I love it. Young people, I was like, yes. And she actually said that. She said, well, what was the message you got? And just kept holding her trophy like, I ain't getting ready to entertain this. That's what we have to do, y'all. That's what we have to do with social justice. That's what we have to do with our political stance. That's what we have to do. We have to do. She didn't argue. She just said, what message did you get? What was the message you got? So y'all, here's the other thing. Stop putting things off. Stop putting things off. For years, I'm talking about even when I was a kid, I remember wanting to go to the Macy's Day Parade in New York on Thanksgiving. I always wanted to go. Never got there because we always had this big family dinner, and I didn't want to separate from having family dinner. So when I got older, I was still into the family dinners, and I kept putting it off, but I wanted to go. My daughter even lived in New York for a while. Did not go. I just did not go. I would have had a place to stay. Wouldn't have to worry about paying for a hotel. I did not go. Well, guess what, y'all? The Macy Day Parade isn't like the Macy Day Parade anymore because of COVID. Macy announced its changes for the Thanksgiving Day parade. For the first time ever, it will only be on TV. And I always watch it, but I always wanted to go. I always wanted to go. So y'all, we got to stop putting things off. If there's something we want to do, we need to do it. Because now I sit back and I think if they never go back to it, I will never have attended a Thanksgiving Macy Day parade. And I wanted to. So for almost 100 years now, y'all, the parade has marched through the heart of Midtown up to Macy's. And now it's going to be something completely different. Completely different. So I've missed that opportunity, and they are saying they're not sure that it will ever come back. So it's going to be virtual, and that's great. And I always watched it on TV, but it's going to be different. And I'm thinking, wow, I never went to that. All right, y'all. The last thing I have for today is the win. Well, I have an inspirational message too, so just hold on, but it's tied into the win. For the win, I want to shout out, celebrate, just say thank you for your service, all of that for Lawrence Brooks. Lawrence Brooks, on September the 12th, this U.S. veteran of World War II turned 111. He turned 111. He's the America's oldest World War II veteran, celebrates his 111th birthday. Brooks served in the predominantly African-American 91st Engineer Battalion, which was stationed in New Guinea and then the Philippines during World War II. So for the win, Lawrence Brooks. Lawrence Brooks for the win. And when I looked him up, I could tell he was an African-American brother. But when I looked him up and saw him with his family in New Orleans, where they were celebrating his birthday virtually, I thought about what was on the inside of him. And he was standing up, he was waving at people, he was talking, he was laughing. I said, you would not think he's 111. You would think he might be, I don't know, late 80s, maybe early 90s, but he was just together. And I said, what is it about him? And so he started talking about his faith on a report. So now I'm going to my inspirational message. And he was talking about his faith, and he was talking about he never allowed things to wear him down. He was always saying, okay, he wasn't taking on the garbage. He wasn't taking on the mess that would weigh him down. He said he stayed his course. He stayed focused. He stayed determined to see the things that he wanted to see and to do the things he wanted to do. So my words to all of us today, let's throw off the weight, the weight of life that easily brings us down. We need to throw that off. We need to take that off. We need to lay aside the weight. We need to lay aside that weight. And we need to run this race with passion, but with self-care, with determination, not allowing the naysayers to block us, to pull us down, not to allow what people are going to do what they want to do. Once we know what they're going to do, let's say okay and keep moving on. And let's stay focused to those. For me, I have shifted from talking with older people about voting. I've shifted it now to my daughter's age group. And yes, they're voting, but they're not sure what to vote for. They're not understanding all the names that are on the ballots. I have allowed them to, I've said, okay, inbox me, message me, text me, whatever. So these young people, millennials, they're sending me, well, who's this person? Well, what exactly is this position for? Why is it an elected official position? Which also says to me, y'all, and I'm going to launch this. I don't know how I'm going to add another piece to my plate, but I'm going to. And it may not happen until after the election, so I can plan it accordingly. But there has to be some sort of voter education. I know we have voter education right before the elections, but we need to have more. The questions that I'm getting for young people, I raise the question, what are you learning in school? And I'm not knocking teachers. Don't hear that. Please don't hear that. I'm saying, what is it about them that they're not paying attention or they're not interested in the subject in school? That's my thing. I don't think it's the teachers at all. I don't think it's the school system at all. But I think it is, what is it? How can we make this more engaging? What does that look like? So hear me. We got to stay focused, y'all. We have to stay focused. We are now 49 days away. I purposely did not say 50 yesterday because that's one thing. We are now 49 days away from the election, under 50 days. What is your plan? Let's be like Lawrence Brooks. Let's be like him. I'm thinking, wow, he got it going on. All right, y'all. I am Gail Dudley. This has been News in Motion. Until tomorrow, 7:25, I'll be right back here. It's concept and not reality. Thank you, Damia. Good morning, Damia. So, y'all, until tomorrow, this is Gail Dudley. If you're just joining, click the replay, please. Good morning, Latrice Jones. Click the replay if you're just joining. There's a lot of information I put out there for you. Check it out. I gotta go over to IG. Yep, that's where I'm headed. I'm headed over to IG. So until tomorrow, 7:25. Oh, if you have not joined my YouTube channel, I need your help to join my YouTube channel. You can go to www.youtube.com/Gail Dudley, GailDudley. You are welcome, Rhonda Clark. I need y'all to do that for me. There's a sponsor that's waiting for me to hit. I have to hit over 1,000 subscribers. And they're going to link up with News in Motion. It's going to be big. So I need you all. Please tell your family and friends to subscribe to my YouTube as well. As soon as it's a go, I will let all of you know what it's about. It's exciting. We just got to get those numbers up. Call it voter refresher for the young people. Yeah, Demi, and then you can also be one of the speakers and talk about diversity on the platform. See, I'm going to use all of y'all. This isn't about me. This is about our civic duty, our civic engagement, our collaboration with one another. Can't be an island. So, yep, Demia, I'll be calling you. Yep, I see all of you, Adrian. Okay, y'all, I got to go to IG. I'm Gail Dudley. Peace out.